Welcome everybody to MogTalk episode 163. Today is April 27th, 2019. And if you guys have not seen MogTalk before, we're a show based around the Final Fantasy XIV community that discusses everything from Savage Raiding to Chocobo racing. If you heard that squeaking in the beginning, it was the chair, I think from Brian. He needs to oil that stuff, but that's okay. That's all right, man. That's all right. It's a good start. So before we get too deep into it, I want to make sure everybody says who they are so you guys know who's on the podcast. It's not so awkward just kind of having them sit here and hang out. So I'm actually going to start with the first person who doesn't have a webcam, Aqua. Aqua, could you tell everybody who you are and what you may be known for in the community?
Hello, I'm Aqua, and I've been a PvE and PvP player, but since we're talking about PvP here, I've been playing PvP since Season 3, which is like late 2016, I think.
Okay.
And yeah, I've been in top 100 ever since, like every season, I think.
All right.
And
Are you going to talk about
pretty
FRC at all? I mean,
and got a decent result at FRC EU. Yeah.
Yeah. FRC champion here. And then we have next someone who does have a webcam, Brian.
Hey, I'm Brian Ricardo. I'm mostly known for my stream, and I'm also the leader of Rival Wings Discord. It's a Rival Wings community. And I also play in FRC. I'm wearing my jersey.
Yeah, looking sharp.
Yeah.
All right. And then we have Kaze.
Hey guys, I'm Kaze. Kaze is your own game. I help run the PvP Discord for improving your PvP game, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I play LP. I was in the FRC too. Team Be Yourself, and looking forward to future PvP.
Okay. I mean, you could also say that you're really running the World Cup that's coming up too.
Yeah, I could have probably said that too. Yeah, there's a World Cup tournament that I'm also running. I'm getting a lot of help from actually everyone talking here today. So I'm really excited about that. We can talk a little bit more about that later, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we got Mateo, who has really, you look at his eyes there, he's wanting to do something to you. But Mateo, tell everybody who you are.
Well, I just want to ask real quick: is there a raffle command in this chat?
There's not. Do you want me to
Let's try it?
Can you add a raffle command, please? Thank you. Yeah, raffle. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm Mateo. I've been PvPing for a while as well. I just got into Feast like middle of season 3. Been kind of going strong with it since.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just as Kaze, I help moderate and mentor in PvPisa, which is a really good Discord if you're looking to get into PvP as an introductory step and further even more.
Mm-hmm.
And likewise, I'm also the NAFRC champion, which was a lot of fun, and I love all these guys. So whoever won would have been just we all would have been happy.
Nah, you'd be pissed. I know. All right.
What the fuck, man?
Third, a tantrum. I'm not that good of a streamer, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
Anyways, if you guys haven't been able to tell, all of our guests are very PvP focused players here, and we are going to be talking about PvP. We are in the first week of the last season of Stormblood here. I think it's season 13.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Which is only going to last a month, but there has been a lot of people who are actually interested in PvP, whether it's because of the FRC events or something else. But we do have it seems like a lot more people wanting to play right now. I figured this was a great time to talk about it, especially while the hype is pretty good. There's a handful of topics. There's a lot of people who have been saying negative things, positive things, all kinds of things, and I want to discuss all of them. But before we get too much into it, I kind of want to talk about how this season so far is going over the last 5 days or so that we've been experiencing it. So for you guys, kind of just tell me, how's the season been for you? And I'll start with Brian just so we can have somebody to start.
Yeah, sure. For me, I've been playing a little bit in all data centers. I was so shocked to see like all of them popping, like even off prime time. Yeah.
I mean, it's weird, right? Because we all thought it was doomsday because of the server split.
Yeah, totally. Even like Primal was popping like 8 a.m. Eastern time. That was crazy.
Yeah. Do you guys think it's gonna slow down?
Mm.
Yeah, go back.
Everybody's like, ah!
It probably will in like a week or two. That usually happens. You
Right.
know, the newer players end up quitting and stuff like that.
Very, very pessimistic thing to say there, Brian.
Yeah,
Well, also just like all the veteran players too, they can separate themselves with the rank, and they won't be able to queue up with the unranked players eventually. So, like I feel like half of the activity just comes from the veteran players, and it gets to a point where you start splitting. And when people hit platinum, diamond, they can't queue up with unranked.
Well,
or
they
bronze.
can. They just jump on an alt, but then they make the other people not want to play anymore, right?
Yeah, it's true if they don't get any pops, maybe. But
Yeah.
I'd recommend just trying another server. Don't play an alt on the same data center. You know, get some
I agree.
practice.
I agree. It's more fun to play on different data centers. But okay. Aqua, how's EU going?
Pretty good actually. We were kind of scared because of the data center split,
Mhm.
so this season is kind of special for you. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's been really, really active in both data centers.
Which one do you
it-
play on?
Mostly Chaos. My main is on Chaos, but
Mhm.
I've been playing on Light as well.
I think
And
wasn't Chaos the one that everybody was kind of worried that wouldn't have very many pops because they were
Yeah.
thinking everybody's going to
Yeah.
go to light.
yeah, most of the veterans moved to Light, but at the start of the season right now there are many new players, which is very nice to see, especially now that they made that announcement that the Garo event is ending in 5.1. So there are
Mhm.
many people trying to finish that before it ends.
Well,
So
also a
yeah.
lot of people probably. It's funny how many people probably start playing the game when our Garo wasn't relevant,
Mhm.
right? I mean, it's been 2 years, right?
Yeah,
it's been a while.
When was it introduced? Like 4.4, 3.4, I mean.
Yeah, it's right before this expansion.
Yeah, it's season 4. It was season 4, I think. So yeah.
I thought the Garo
It's a
event was
while.
going to be permanent. I didn't realize it had like a deadline.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're right.
It didn't. See, it didn't have a deadline.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm 99% certain they made it a deadline because they wanted people to queue up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe.
Probably.
I mean, they
To
can
be
always
honest.
bring it back, right? I mean, it's not like it's going to be
Mhm.
gone forever. I mean, it possibly could, but they're kind of teasing you with that, right? They're like, if you don't do it now, you may not get it anymore. But if they really wanted to, they could always bring it back
Mhm.
if enough people wanted it.
yeah. Any event could come back, pretty much.
Yeah. But 2 years is, I think that's the longest an event has gone on for the game.
By far.
Yeah, I can't think of how many people have quit the game and started playing first, like during this whole transition. So yeah, there's a lot of people who are like, Garo event, I didn't even know this was going on. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get my stuff real quick before it's done with.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they need to do it now because once you get into the expansion, a lot of people are going to be raiding, right? They're going to be doing the new expansion. They're going to be leveling up. They're going to do all this other
Yeah.
stuff. So by the time it hits 5.1, you may not have time for PvP. We don't even know if there's going to be like a season going on and how active PvP is going to be at that point. So
Yeah. We don't know
Hopefully
anything
very
yet.
active. But we don't really know anything yet. So
Yep. Yep. Mateo, how are you doing in this season so far?
Dude, I'm so glad you asked. I'm
Yeah.
like inches away from getting the mounts from Garo. I'm really happy about it. Like all three of them are really close. 3 or 4 because I'm in for a delight right now.
What the fuck,
honestly,
Mateo?
all right, listen. All
Okay.
right, so when it comes to the actual matches,
Mhm.
it's not okay. Don't take me wrong. All right, don't
Okay.
take me wrong. Okay, it's been nice to see the new faces.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a healer and you take Bolt and you sprint to the other team's camp, you're on your own, dude. Like I'm not I'm not following you, dog. Like anyway, it's nice to see new players, but they gotta study up a little bit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of people who are trying out Feast, there's a couple things you need to know. You should try. You have to understand that not the people you're playing with aren't all just in there trying, just kind of like, oh, PvP, let me see how this. You're not on that's not the level you start on. You start on a level with people who know what they're doing versus people who know what they're doing. Right, so people who know what they're doing are on your team, the other team, and I mean it's a mix. You're gonna have some new people there too. And especially if you're a healer and they catch that you're a new player, you're done. They're just gonna
They're gonna
delete
bully
you.
you so hard.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. You're starting out healing. They're gonna find out you're a new healer, and they're gonna abuse you as much as possible. And it's just a hazing that you have to go through because it means a win for the other team.
Yo, check it out real quick. Check it out. Okay, so veteran players can smell that shit out. Okay, they can smell that you're a new healer. I'll give you guys a tip real quick. Please don't take Bolt and Safeguard or Safeguard and Muse. Like literally, like they're just gonna like jump on you off the bat.
Use Purify and Muse even if you don't use them later.
Exactly. Please don't do that if you're like a melee, a tank, and even range. I think your default is Bolt Recoup. Dude, we're looking at you like, oh god, like
yeah,
a little bit of like thinking, little bit, you know, be like, okay, this is cool, but maybe I can. Anyway, that's my point.
Do you know what the default is for healer?
Default.
Just
I think
skills.
default's always like Bolt or something, isn't
Isn't
it?
it the same for everyone?
Oh, is it?
Like for every job? Yeah, I think
I'm
so,
not
right?
sure.
It's been so long for me, dude.
Bolt concentrate or
I'm so
something.
triggered.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem that could be fixed by SE or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they automatically give you the best trait, they think the best traits are. That's kind of, I don't know.
People,
I mean, it's
People
always
in chat.
biased. Like, you know how the JP community, like, because they can play with less than 10 ping.
Yeah.
The servers. Purify works a lot better for them, whereas
Yeah.
in NA EU, it's like the ping's a lot higher, so maybe Purify might not be as good. It's just if they did that, then it would be pretty biased towards what they would like, you know, like what they would think.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they just want to let the players decide.
I mean, and that's kind of a conversation I want to have too. Sorry, Brian. I want to talk about, because this is one of the things that we complain about PvE, complain about anything that's in the game, is they don't train the players. They don't teach the players how to play. And so there's always like that conversation where, hey, why isn't Square Enix doing what they can to make people better players? But isn't there always that thought that the players have to take that initiative and try to get better, right? Isn't that part of like the fun to figure it out?
Yes, but
yeah.
I think that there should be at least like a small quest, like that one you have to do in the Hall of the Novice thingy at level 20 or something, that explains you like the basics to avoid AoEs and stuff. There should be one to tell you how to take medals and that kind of thing, because yesterday, for example, I was playing a game and I had to spam the get medals button like 100 times and
Get
I
me
was
started,
didn't
bro.
really get medals.
Yeah.
So we basically couldn't close the game when we could have won in 2 minutes.
Hey man, I got a 3-minute video. Right. I got a 3-minute video, dude. Actually, you know what's funny? After the JP FRC, I started seeing like a lot of tutorial videos pop up. It's like there's a lot of JP players actually making videos and stuff right now too. They kind of teach people over there. And I feel bad because I don't know what it's going to look like post expansion release, right? We don't really know how much of this is going to be static. Like they could change it up again for all we know.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think if you guys are a new player starting Feast, it's good to get in the games and just play and see it. If you fail horribly, maybe look and see, all right, is there anything I can do to just be a little bit better that match? Can I look up maybe a guide real quick or something and try to get a brief understanding? Because it doesn't take long. Most of the guides that teach you how to play Feast are like a few minutes long. I don't know. And PV Paisa, you guys have tons of guides, right?
Yeah, almost every job now, I think.
Yeah.
We have tons of guides. We have a lot of people who are willing to help, who are experienced in those jobs. Like a lot of new people, like I understand, like they're really scared to just like ping like at people and stuff. But like if you have a question about like a specific job, just like at the mentors, just be like at Red Mage Mentor or and just like be like, hey, I need some help. We're always open to helping. So
yeah. I mean, and that's the reason why they're mentors too, because they want to help people out, right? It's not
that's right.
Not something where they're like, oh, I don't want people to talk to me and I just want to be a mentor because it's a status. It's because that people want to help out.
Yo, real quick.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. I respect the new players that are like introspective of their own performance. They're like, okay, you know what? I could have done better than that. You know what? Maybe I could have used this ability more. Maybe I could have done this. Maybe I could have researched a little bit more. But I'll be straight up. Okay, I don't know who's in chat reading this, but or listening to this. If you come into PvP and you're like, oh, my shit doesn't work, the system's against me and all this garbage, dude. No, no, like we actually had a troll. I don't know if it was a troll or legit or what the hell happened, but he's like, oh, like I don't have an invulnerability when I die, bitch. Like everyone has like 10 seconds or 15, something like that, right? Like the fluid aura doesn't work. Like, come on, dude. Like, don't blame the system. Don't blame the team.
I mean,
in perspective, man.
So, I mean, it's good to talk about that too, because I mean, the system overall. So there is quirks to it, right? There's small quirks, but it's not horrible, right? If you play Final Fantasy, you're used to these quirks probably already. I mean, it's just what it is. It's the Final Fantasy, the MMO. It's how the server works and how everything else works. And so I'm used to it. And I know it may look weird sometimes when you see people kind of, you think, oh, yeah, they're kind of sliding around a little bit. I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. Do you guys have any issues with it anymore?
Nope, that's how the game is.
You just adjust.
There's definitely like, I mean, given what we're given with the game, I feel like it's a pretty decent game mode. But there's obviously more like some improvements to certain aspects of the game. I mean, for me personally, I would like to see changed. But like,
I mean,
having that much, like, there's some like weird. Like the medal system, for example, is pretty weird. Having one map is pretty weird.
Right. I mean, there's things that we want changed, like quality of life things that would make it, we think would make it more enjoyable, but it's not like preventing us from wanting to play this game. It's still enjoyable, right?
Yeah.
I think when people lose, they tend to find reason. I mean, this is just the same reason people have drama on Twitter or wherever else. They don't like someone, they find a reason why they don't like them. If they lose at PvP, they find a reason why they're losing and why they don't like it.
Reminds me when I was 12 years old, dude.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what the internet is. Internet, literally, you hit your peak socially when you're 12 years old and you have your Snapchat, dude. There you are. That's what it is now. It's so sad. But no, I see people upset all the time, and I see people kind of reinforcing that even if they haven't played PvP, because they want to just say, hey, it sucks and it's okay for me not to play this because it's not a good system. It's not because they want to go in there and figure it out. It takes 2 seconds. For me, I don't know. I think I remember this until the day I die. I played for the first time one season. I got involved with the community and I lost. I sucked. I did bad. And good old, I think, Danny Aboyo or whatever came at me and he wanted me to, I mean, he's kicked from like every Discord in the world now, but he came at me and he was basically saying, you need to just not play. You shouldn't play this game. There's something, just quit. And I don't know, that's just a normal reaction, right? You have people in the community who are doing that stuff. And go ahead.
Yeah, kind of. It's a competitive mode. You spend time to try and gain points, and then when you lose, it sucks a lot. So, yeah, people get upset. It's just about like how you go about it. That's the thing.
Well, like the biggest thing too with this game mode in particular is the amount of teamwork you need, and being like you can't solo people like if you were to do other PvP games. So if you put in a lot of effort, like you put in so much effort, like you're doing like rank 1 level strats, like you're just mind gaming them, there's still a good chance you're not going to win if your team's not picking up their slack, because no matter what you do, and that's the most frustrating part. You put in so much effort and you expect the same amount of effort from your team, but there obviously isn't going to be the same amount of effort. So
and
it's frustrating.
You don't really see that until you get into the higher ranks, like Platinum, Diamond, to be honest. I mean, even then, there's still going to be some harsh imbalances that you have to make up for. During Unranked in this first season, sometimes it's a coin flip. It's just what it is. That's how the mode is. Yeah. It's a very team-focused game. And that's kind of why I like it. But at the same time, queuing in solo and not having a guarantee of who's going to be on your team can be kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, week 1 is definitely going to be really tough everyone, a lot of people who didn't end up climbing last season, they're going to start unranked. There's going to be, I know a bunch of people on Primal. I actually have no idea why Primal has been really active in particular. We've been, like Brian said, we've been getting 24/7 pops.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's the same in EU, I think.
Yeah.
Wow. Like I honestly, I haven't been doing I'm like, I should queue up at night. Then I'm like, oh, I got to work at night, but I guess I could queue up in the morning at 2 a.m. and get a pop.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Except for
Always
Crystal.
the bright side,
I think Crystal's the only one that's not like that.
Crystal's not as, it's just Balmung though. It's just the majority of the players are Balmung, and you get like the few, you know, other
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Right. I guess that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, if you guys are interested in getting into it, please just try it out. Jump in there. If you guys have tried this week and you've had a bad time, that's normal. You're not going to be a pro when you first start the game. But you should try to figure out some key aspects of things and just, hey, someone gives you advice and they tell you you're a horrible piece of shit and you need to fall back. Ignore the horrible piece of shit part and understand why they want you to fall back. Because you'll have to, again, competitive modes, very toxic people like Mateo and Brian.
God damn it. And I had Jamaica Bondwalker the other day in my match. Yeah, Jamaica Bondwalker, like something like that.
Okay.
Is that sounds like an arrow?
I swear to God, dude, he was wearing that, like the wolf attire from Wolf's Den, you know. He was playing Black Mage, and both of our both of our healers were fairly new,
Right.
and, like we're pushing up, and this dude's just like standing at like the entrance of our canopy. He's like, fall back, fall back, fall back, fall back.
I had that person. I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Listen here, Jamaica Bondwalker, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was something else, dude. Like, it's cool that they want to take charge, right? Sorry, Brian, one sec. It's cool that they want to take charge, but dude, I have a fucking title above my head that says I did something cool, bro. Like,
Yeah,
come on,
FRC
bro.
champion. What are you doing, man?
Yeah, man. Like, that's the only time I've ever like fucking rubbed it in people's face. I'm chill about it, but this dude was like, Jamaica Bondwalker, you know, I'm the leader. Like, man, fuck off.
Yeah, that tilted me too. Like, that just messes up everyone. Someone spams like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's what it is. Yeah, I can agree. People, that's when nice job spam and everything else goes on. And especially that when people want to force a strategy on you that doesn't make any sense to you. I don't know. I've seen it a lot. I mean, there's also the people who sacked before, right? And they're like, "Oh yeah, we should kill somebody at the beginning of the match because it makes it easier for us to win later on."
Man, honestly, the worst enemy I think to PvP at this point in time is like the people that don't even try.
Yeah,
like
yes.
if you queue up and you get a pop, commit to 6 minutes. Like that's all, man. Like 6 minutes, commit, do your best. If you don't feel like doing it again, like, you know, watch Hello Kitty or whatever the hell you do. You know, just chill with the toxicity and like during the match. Like if you die once, bro, I got news for you, man. It's not the end of the match. Like,
Yep.
Absolutely not. I mean,
that pisses me off so much.
Yeah.
Even more in this mode with all the comeback mechanics and everything.
I mean, that's the point of the medal
Yeah.
system, right? I mean, it's to make the match constantly interesting. Always be on your edge. Always have to figure out a way to win the match. Even if you're in lead, you can still lose. It's not get one kill and then you're done. This isn't slow ass WoW PvP where you're sitting there for an hour waiting for someone to die and then you're okay, match is over because one person died. This is, you can come back easily. I mean, that's kind of the point. I mean, I guess we should talk about that a little bit too, because this is something that a lot of people might not be too familiar with. Is the medal system? There's mixed reactions. People hate it, or people like it. Kaze is shaking his head.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started in the middle.
All right. So I personally think it's fine. I don't mind it. It's just a game. That's the match. It's like to be in a lead at the end of the game, and that's just part of it. Other people kind of just want a death match. I mean, Kaze, would you prefer just a death match?
Well, here's the thing with medals. I understand it's a balance mechanic. Maybe it's fine in solo queue. I felt like heavy metals in its own was a perfect way to balance it. I don't think light metals is necessarily something you needed.
Mhm.
But I understand it's like so you don't kill the same person over and
Right.
over and over and over again, which I get. But I think having too much balance, it basically nullifies the fact that you have a better team, and you could potentially like you can't rely on your own skill at that point. You have to rely on like what part of the fight are we at? If we're at 1 minute left, we can get the last second kill and then just run, you know?
Mhm.
And those are the kind of strats you start like people start employing. And I feel like maybe that's okay in solo queue where there's like medals, but in LP, for example, like LP, there should not be medals because you're building your own team from scratch. You all have the same resources. There's no reason why, like at all, there should be any balancing mechanism
Okay.
in
So if
in
you
the
die,
team.
you get 50 medal, or you lose 50 medals. If you kill someone 50 medals, that's it. Maybe,
I feel like
right?
it shouldn't even be medals at that point. You shouldn't even have to pick up. It should just be straight up points.
Like get a kill, you get a
think-
point.
Yeah.
I think if we remove medals for LP, there should be at least a different mechanic, not only deathmatch. Only deathmatch would be too boring, in my opinion.
Yeah, it feels like get just the regular kills. Like right now, the medals, they add an extra layer to it.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
it could be kind of annoying because you're like, okay, I'm in the last minute. They're going to try to get a last minute kill, and you have to figure out how you're going to defend against that last minute kill. And that's just it could be decided within the last minute. And that sucks if you did really well for 5 minutes, and then within 1 minute you lose. But it's the minute you gotta worry about the most. And I don't know. It's hard for me to say this. You guys have all played in the FRC, so you guys have different opinions on high level light party play than I would. Brian, do you think high level light party heavy metals is a bad thing?
Kaze makes a good point, but I agree with Aqua that there probably have to be something else in exchange for that. Because if you right now, as it is, if you just killed one person over and over and over and got the same amount of points, that wouldn't even be fair, really.
And especially now that we only have one competitive map, every match would be exactly the same. Because mostly, like most teams run the same comp. We have the same map. Everyone would do the same strats, and it would get boring in 2 days. So I don't know.
Yeah. Like I think medals are fine, and like you can pick up medals for points, and that would probably like determine how many points you have. But I think just like the heavy, like the buffs, the heavy metals, light metals aren't necessary. So you can still have like the point system where you pick up the medals and you have these points, but at the same time, like you still need to disperse them appropriately, and you still lose half of them depending on how much you hold in the first place. But being like having damage multipliers in a competitive game mode, I feel like those should only be appropriate if they're like chain strat or butcher's block, you know, like abilities that are used by like certain classes and not just from the game itself.
Yeah. Mateo?
Someone is mentioning.
Oh, go ahead, Aqua.
Someone is mentioning in chat capture the flag. I think capture the flag could be kind of fun for front lines, but I don't see it as a viable option for Feast because you already take kind of a long time depending on the match to kill someone, and it would be like everyone getting flags like every time.
There's a huge PvE aspect to it too.
Yeah, also that. I think it would be better to have some kind of like the seal rock system, but you don't have to like channel an ability to capture a point, only standing there, and that could be like fun fights, and then yeah, you get points for capturing like different points in the map, and yeah, both teams should have to go there to capture those.
I mean,
I think that would be kind of fun.
It would be fun to be 8v8 capture the flag mode that just replaced Rival Wings.
Basically, what Aqua just said about the objectives, that already exists in Rival Wings. That's the train right there. You just have to stand on it.
The train, the dude that's down there, you got a PvE, the goblin whatever leader, and then
the mercenary.
Yeah, the mercenary. And there's so many things. I think what Rival Wings is great, but it's like it's too much.
there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Like I went in first time. I'm just like, oh, you have to pick up the ceruleum tank. Oh, you can ride mechs. Oh, there's a train in the middle. Oh, wait, there's a mercenary now spawning. Like, I don't know. It was to me like when I did because I didn't really go in depth into like researching Rival Wings. I just wanted to play it just to try it out, and it was really overwhelming.
Because I mean, so think about this too. If you have Feast, and people are like, "Oh, well, there's just the medals, right? You kill people, you get medals, and that's the game." It's you start developing all these little metas and all these different ways of handling the medals. There's different ways to handle this, and I mean, when you simplify the objectives overall, you expand the thought process behind all of it, I guess. And so with Rival Wings, you just find a gimmick with like the mech, and you stand in a certain area, and you're pretty good, and that's the level that people ever take it to. But if you made it to where, all right, the only objective you have here is whoever gets the mercenary, and then they push the line more, and you take out robots and everything else, then there's actually a big thought process to how they're going to approach getting the mercenary, right? Now it's just like, oh, is anyone even going to go over there? They could do these other 5 things if they wanted to, right?
Yeah.
So people are just mixed up and spread out in so many different ways. Capture the flag, they're like, okay, we need someone to go capture a flag, and we need someone to defend our flag. That's it.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. I'm throwing my opinions out too much. I'm sorry.
No, I agree with that. There's definitely like different ways to play Rival Wings, and the best way to do it, I think, is just pre-made with 4 people, and you can choose to do what objectives that group wants to do. So like your party will go for the mercenary, another party will go for pushing lanes and stuff like that.
Or they'll go for the mercenary too. They just don't.
That's what you can talk in Rival Wings if people really wanted to, but you know it's large scale. So
yeah, and that's honestly like the most fun about like the large scale PvPs. You can do it with friends. You can pre-made with like I do a lot of pre-made frontlines myself, and it's honestly really fun. Especially when you queue late at night and there's only 24 mans. I feel like that's another thing too, because Frontlines has this option where you can get 72 people or 24 people. Rival Wings, maybe you can do just like 12-12 instead of 24-24 as well. If these aren't as active, maybe that will help.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Good idea.
People would like to see that.
But all right, so let's talk a little bit. You know what? We haven't even talked about how you guys are doing post FRC, since you guys are all part of the FRC, and you had that was the big event, right? That was the big thing for Feast and everybody that was in the community. And it's over now, and it's done with. How are you guys feeling after going through all that, and now we're kind of sitting with just waiting on what's next?
It was an amazing experience overall, and now we are chilling and waiting for the new expansion to see what we get there.
Yeah,
we had a bit more of competition in EU because we had that Chaos Showdown tournament.
Right.
Which
after
was
too.
Which was pretty fun to play, to be honest, especially because we went back to play the old maps. That I hope we had in solo queue, but happens.
No, yeah, it's good. It's good. Clem does an awesome job. He really good thought out on that too. Just all right, what does the community want? Let's just make an event that the community wants, and he just got it together, and that was really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's we can just kind of hope for those things coming in the future and see what pops up. But I mean, were you guys happy with the FRC? I guess is kind of my question. Were you guys happy about, at least from your perspective, how everything went down?
Are we talking about the JP exhibition match or? Oh, okay.
Come on, Mateo, that's shade.
I had to, dude. Anyway, FRC was awesome. Honestly, like having to meet everyone was like the greatest victory. Honestly, it was so much fun. Everybody was like cool with each other. You know what I mean? Like there was no like bad blood. You know, we were all hanging out. It was really a good time, and I know a lot of us actually kind of almost took the mantle of showing the rest of the Final Fantasy community that PvP can be, you know, intense and exciting and
for
fun
sure.
and competitive, right? Yeah, exactly. So, like, you know, we had a lot other PvP players that were like front row, of course, you know, like coming up to us and be like, okay, you guys have to show that PvP is not, lulzy and all that. So there's a lot of pride and there's a lot of commitment to it and passion. I do think that that was the benefit of it. However, unfortunately, we've had a bit of radio silence when it comes to the next iteration. So I hope that that changes soon.
Yeah. I mean, and that's just kind of the MO, it seems. There's always a little bit of radio silence there until something is like firm and good and solid. We don't usually hear anything. I don't know. Aqua EU one, it's funny because three of me and Brian went both to EU and NA here.
Yeah.
And we met Aqua. Aqua is a wonderful guy, super shy, but it's okay. Aqua, how do you think that it was? You had a really good time at the EU FRC?
Yeah, it was amazing to be around all of these people who you have been talking with for months or years even. And yeah, it was an amazing 3 days there. And it was also a really good experience to show the people in the community that PvP can be good.
Yeah. I think a lot of people did.
It felt really nice after the finals there to have people talking about it that never really played PvP and coming to you and saying, "Hey, that was amazing," and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that in both of the events. People seem to, and that's who, honestly, like when Bless and I were up there shoutcasting, like one of our biggest things in both of these events was we need to make sure we're shoutcasting to people who don't play PvP. Right? And so the idea is that we're because right now it is true, there's a lot of people who just don't understand PvP pretty well. And so we're not going into the in-depth, in-detail stuff because it would just fly right over the heads of everybody. So we try to go into the parts that people can understand, take a grasp on. And that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to figure all that stuff out. We spent months working on that.
Yeah, you did a really good job.
Yeah,
all three of you. Yeah.
Thank you.
I still try and showcase like FRC is what could be potential for like 5.0 in the future PvP because SE went out of their way to like do this for us and it could be more in the future. So
yeah, so definitely look forward to it.
Yeah, I'm banking on that too, just because this was like a test for Final Fantasy development team, because I remember and I think Yoshi P really liked it too. He was like joining in the audience for the NA one, and he was just like sitting in the crowd watching the games because the crowd was amazing.
Yeah, Neo, he was backstage, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was backstage with the other players watching it.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Well, I didn't really get to see it because we were on stage, but other people told us. So,
yeah. He was checking it out. They did a really good job and they were very personal with everybody. I think they talked to all you guys, right? And came up. He definitely said that he's interested to see where the future is going for PvP. He's looking forward to it. So we'll see, guys. So let's go past that. And I mean, the FRC was part of the PvP experience for this expansion. PvP has gone through a lot of stuff this expansion. It's huge. If I think about Heavensward, it was big. Like, there's a good amount of people playing around the end of the expansion. And there's other stuff kind of going throughout life cycle and everything else. But PvP's had a lot of stuff that's happened through. I guess, I don't know. You guys have been around a lot more active than I guess I was in Heavensward. Do you feel like Stormblood had more PvP stuff happening with it, as in like new modes, different adjustments, things going on, versus what Heavensward had?
Man, if you look at it, actually, like logically, if you look at it, 3.x introduced the feast because it was the Wolves Dome and then 2.x. So introduced the feast, so that foundation was there, and the map changed. The feasting grounds changed like a total of like 3 times. Don't quote me on the exact number, but I think it was around that.
In Stormblood?
No. In Stormblood too, but in right. So I'm just gonna compare, right? Like in 2.x, right?
Yeah.
Feasting grounds changed quite a bit. At first, it was like a bunch of fences around the middle and stuff like that. And then we got another map added, which is really cool.
Best map that was ever added to the game.
I like it. Yeah, it was nice, right? Like playing all those maps, and then a lot of changes and stuff like that. And then like 4.x comes around, it's like, okay, we're stripping the system. or making it like this. And so what we got, you know, in 4.x was like, okay, metal revamp like countless times. I don't know if
Right.
they still have the percentages right, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
It's the light and heavy.
Right.
I'm not sure if they're confident in what they want to do with it. And then, right, like we got the other 2 maps that we enjoyed in 3.0 kind of taken away. So that kind of sucks, you know, like it would be
Right.
nice to cycle them again.
Mhm.
You know, and then the job bounces, the continuous job bounces, which I appreciate, right? Like I remember when Monk was disgusting, actually, the start of 4.x. That was my main in 3.x, so I went into it.
And
I was
it
like,
was
all right.
hotfixed super quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not playing this. This is actually broken. Like it was so ridiculous.
You could do like a 16k burst in like 2
Yeah,
seconds
yeah.
or something. It was
That's unheard of
ridiculous.
now, right? Like I was like 8,000. Like, holy
Right.
gee.
You could actually one-shot someone
Yeah.
alone.
The rage had like a lot less HP, I
that?
think, too. Like
Yeah.
12,000.
No, they had 10,000 rather than
10,000.
Jesus
Crap,
Christ.
dude.
they had now.
Who's gonna play range? Like, you know, like, and the other thing too is like the fact, like, I know even Paladin was really strong. Like, there was a lot of back and forth within the community that was like, oh, this job sucks. When actually, like, low key, it was OP. Like Warrior was, I want to say, like, hands down one of the best tanks for 4.x, honestly.
Yep, it's really good. Just no one took up the mantle until like a while, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's about all I have to say. But if you look at, you know, the takeaways and what we got, it's kind of like in the same boat, but I still think they're confused about some things, like in terms of balancing percentages and abilities for sure. So
Yeah. I mean, I think over this entire expansion, there's been a lot of information that's been given to Square Enix about PvP. And so it's going to mean a lot depending on what happens with it and what we start seeing on these changes coming into 5.0, because that's what we're all waiting for.
Pretty
Right?
much, yeah.
Mhm.
Also,
I hope.
I was gonna say that in 4.x we got way more patches. I mean, PvP changes in the patches compared to like 3.x where the seasons were just long and nothing really got changed often.
And just to add on that too, we also got communication from Clem himself, like on the forums, like justifying why these changes were made.
Mhm.
Like even if they weren't his own justifications, like it's like a next step to communicating to the community why these changes were made, because you really want to tell your players you're not just making these changes like for no reason, right?
Right.
Yeah, they mostly were from like translations from the Adrenaline Rush TV, which was the Japanese PvP show, I think.
Yeah.
And there was where they usually explain the changes and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that's correct. I'm not completely sure, but yeah,
It'd be nice to have an Adrenaline Rush TV in North America, since EU already has one.
Yeah. It's I can't speak for like that side of the community team and everything else for how that would go. It'd be, I mean, I've always thought, and I say this every single time. I feel like I'm just like a parrot at this point. But like basically, the way that it would be interesting to see how the English-speaking side of the community teams, both EU, I mean, it could be between EU and NA, is you just have a person his job is PvP and communicating with the PvP community. Then there has someone that's their job is PvE and raiding, right? And that side of the community and communicating. And that's just what they do. And they make sure everything they're a point person for everyone who speaks English to go to, because that would cover a lot of the population that plays Final Fantasy 14. It would make, because a lot of people tell me this all the time that they feel like they go unheard, but I mean, you're heard. You just there's a lot of stuff that all the community managers have to do constantly. They're constantly doing everything, and they don't have any dedicated people to these. And that's something that SE, I think JP has to decide on. Like, you know, they have to decide, hey, we're going to make this part of the community team. But I mean, for both Rennie and Clem, for, you know, being people who have a lot of stuff on their plate, they have done a lot, I think, during this expansion. They've been a huge help to the PvP community.
Yeah, they have been doing an amazing job.
Yeah. You know what? Sorry for interrupting. I was just going to say really quickly, you know what I think they did the best? The thing that 4.x has going for it is that they made the mode so approachable. Like, 4.x was, you have to get level 60. You have
Yeah,
to
fuck all that shit, dude.
here and stuff. So I think that is huge that they made it so approachable, right?
Mhm.
That and the FRC where they actually showcase PvP in such a huge fashion, right? Like I think those two things are like really, really good.
Yeah. There's so much just jumbled mess. Can you imagine FRC? All right, so and I'm a big person that's like, or not a big person. I'm a big fan of the newer system overall. I wish there was more to it, right? I wish there was more buttons. I wish there was more things. But overall, I think the overhaul was a great idea. Because I mean, going into the FRC and they're like, oh yeah, this guy. I wonder if he farmed this dungeon for 100 times to get the right gear for to get the exact stat that he wants to go into this match. Or oh, this is kind of goofy that he's using Flash here to do this, and it kind of works. Maybe, I don't know. There's a 50% chance that this might, reduce what's going on with this match. Oh, this a crit! Wow, a crit just happened. Amazing. That was completely unplanned. Now this guy's dead because of luck. Great.
Yeah, the RNG, the crit. I think removing crit, and now they implemented direct hit to removing that, just having straight damage multipliers and no RNG involved is, in my opinion, probably
Yeah,
the best.
we still have the damage variations, like that
Yeah.
5% less or more that you can do, but yeah, that's fair RNG, not crits.
Right, crit like double damage, like stuff, like 150%, whatever it was. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, 150.
Yeah.
And an auto attack, like just stand.
Yeah,
and you're just kind of up there, and you're like, well, I hope the auto attack hits there and does a little bit of extra damage. I have to stand next to him. Maybe I'll go up there. I'm a summoner. I need a book smack in the middle of all my cast and everything now. I don't know. I felt like it was just. I know the allure to it because there's just so much to figure out. It's just this huge puzzle, and it felt good to have it figured out. And it felt good to execute, right? But it was thrown together. Honestly, that's what it was. It felt like it was just taking PvE and trying to make a PvP version out of it, and people had a hard time getting into it. I remember I definitely did, but
man, you know what though? Honestly, so I said right the fact that 4.x is so much more approachable is kind of like a sensitive topic for me because, all right, PvP was almost always shit talked, like 2.x, 3.x, and most of all 4.x.
Right.
So that actually really triggers me because it was made so approachable and it was made that everybody can get into it with just a little bit of like research. Little bit. I'm sure that's more in our talk later, but like, dude, the amount of like, PvP players are win traders and all this bullshit, dude, like that's actually completely false. 99% false that every PvPer is win trader and all this stuff. Like, if people just apply themselves honestly with this system, they will make top 100. There's no way. Like put in the time, put in the effort, you're good. Yeah. With 3.x though, it was a different story because the veterans would just crush you.
Hold on tight 1 second.
Okay.
I don't know. Like you guys can hear me fine, right?
Your camera.
You're lagging, I think. Yeah.
I'm lagging. Okay.
Yeah. I can see it kind of.
I can hear you guys. I think that my upload just kind of cut out there for a second. Let me try to restart it.
Damn.
Yeah, someone is saying rip a stream, so
Yeah, give me just a moment.
F.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing this. I can hear you guys perfectly fine. I just the
upload.
Yeah, let's see if it catches up.
Yeah, same happened to me earlier today. I was gonna stream some Feast and I turn on the stream and I see like 50% frame drop, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? I restarted everything and it still wasn't working properly, and then
I love it.
And then I checked my speed and it was like 2 megs upload, and I'm like, okay.
I love when, so you guys know how you have the KP per second at the bottom, right? It tells you how many kilobytes. And so like when you can tell when it comes back because it goes from like 100 or something to like 20,000. It just like bounces up really quick, and then it just stabilizes. It looks like it's back. I'll give a second. Refresh if it's not back. All right, and so I'm gonna do this on the camera, so I'll know when I edit it to cut it. So all right. Anyways, going back, Mateo, go ahead and continue. Sorry.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Anyway, so the fact that 4.x PvP is so approachable, it has been slimmed down quite a bit, actually. Like the abilities, I want to say we had 40 plus, honestly.
Oh, yeah. whatever there
that's
was.
a number I'm pulling out of my head, but
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure it was
With
that's not
additionals,
exaggerating.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
the same
exactly.
as PVE, and on top of that,
On
yeah, you
top
had
of the PvP.
ones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
the 9 additionals. Was it
Mhm.
9? I don't remember. But it was a full bar.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yes.
So I guess my point is like it has been made quote unquote more casual, more less entry intensive. But then what we actually get in return is like the quote unquote casuals are complaining that the mode is not casual enough. So I'm having like a mind fuck about it personally because you know what I mean. Like these people, they'd rather like yeah, put up Reddit, you know, like and just say a bunch of nonsense that doesn't even make sense. You know, I had like an interaction quite recently on my Twitter, and there was one intelligent response. You know, one intelligent response that said, you know what, I prefer other PvP modes and stuff like that. I don't want to PvP in Final Fantasy. Cool. You know, as long as you're not claiming everyone's a goddamn win trader and all this nonsense, right?
I mean, yeah, we could definitely dive into that too. I mean, people, that's such an escape route for like people who don't want to it's not that they don't want a PvP, it's that they don't want to fail at PvP, right? And so they don't want to play because they feel like they're going to fail and they don't want to look bad, so they put a reason why they're not participating. And so it becomes, oh, there's win traders. Oh, I lost because my healer, he went out there and he just died really easy. All right, well, you got a new healer. That's what it is. No, he's a win trader. It has to be. No one's that stupid. All right.
It's just really cringe to me how I'm just gonna say it, the dumbest reasons come out of like nowhere. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you know, like my button isn't working, but yours is, kind of thing. Like, come on, dude. Like please be introspective. You know what I mean? Like, try the mode for like 5 to 10 matches, you know, and you might actually, you know, learn to like
try
it.
it while trying to improve, right?
Yeah,
and figure
absolutely.
it out. Don't just like bash your head into it 10 times and be like, oh, it sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the problem is that some people think that it's too easy because they heard it from other people, and then they get into it expecting that it will be like super easy, and it isn't as easy as they expected. So they get frustrated about it.
My favorite thing is like when they come from other PvP games and then they're like, oh, well, in this game, it's, you know, it's so much better. They got it right here. And then they were good in that game. But they come to this one and they're like, I must automatically be good at this mode and everything else. And they're not.
Yeah.
So, oh, it sucks because it's not like the one I'm good at. I don't know. I've win trading. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. There are people out there that do have prerogatives to win trade, but it's such a small amount. So small.
It's less than like 0.01%.
Right.
Maybe it's probably like one person out of everyone that plays. Maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it's so small. Like, and maybe in the past there may have been a bit more, but like those people have been like ostracized by the PvP community in general. Like we don't like we as a PvP community generally don't tolerate stuff like that either. So it's not like we're supporting it in any way.
Right. Most people are like, no, get out of here, dude. We don't want you around. And then they get excluded from like the community discords and everything else, and it's just. Yeah. All right, well then maybe they don't want to play anymore because no one cares if they are high rank or not.
Yeah. Especially lately, we actually get things done with like reporting them and getting them banned and removed from the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There's been a lot of response, a really positive response from the GM team to remove certain people from the leaderboards.
Yeah, I mean, it has been an issue in the past where we felt like nothing was really going on, but now it definitely seems like there's actually, if someone is like going out there and ruining everyone else's experience and they're definitely cheating, they're being a horrible sport, they don't last as long. And there's the new TOS stuff that they added in, which I think had something to do with it too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so go ahead.
Sorry for us. I was just gonna say, if you go on Reddit and you know, like that season's report gets posted, right? You know, oh cool, you know, like new armor, a new mount. There's gonna be at least like a row of 50 like fucking neckbeards, pardon me, that are just like, you know, oh, another reward that I won't have ever. You know, I just kind of dude, that's the biggest tilter actually. Like you need like stop listening to others, use your own, you know, like knowledge. Apply yourself, and you like 100%. Like all of these guys here know it. If you just apply yourself, you will get that stupid ass reward.
The stupid ass reward.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
the funny thing about that is that there's so many people who or new players that come in and they're just good players, and it doesn't take them long to get there. They just try, right? And then they're good.
Actually, lately there are a lot of new faces who actually try to improve, and they are actually good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, personally for me too, because I got in at the start of season 5, I actually wouldn't have continued PvPing at all if I didn't get such good encouraging words from people. I wasn't even expecting it. I was just playing to level up my bard, and people were like, "Wow, you're a pretty good bard." I was like, "Oh, really? Cool." And that just made me want to play even more. So I feel like these new players who are just trying season 13 for the first time, maybe we can like say like, "Oh, you're doing really well." Like some form of encouragement. I feel like it'll go a long way.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, and if people realize you're a new player, and you're part of the community and you talk a little bit and they can see you're trying to be better, people are gonna love you, right? They're not gonna hate you.
Yeah.
You will get recognized 100% from like, especially if there's veteran players in your game and you play really well, like they'll recognize it 100%.
Yeah. And I mean the other thing, yeah, and so that goes into line with people saying everyone's toxic and horrible and shitty, and I mean besides Mateo here, as you can hear in the tone of his voice,
God damn it.
most people are very nice and kind, and they talk shit to each other because they know each other, right?
Yeah.
Like
It's like friendly banter.
yeah, like I mean,
Sometimes.
when I make fun of Brian when he 4-stacks and loses, but I mean like
Oh, what?
but I mean it's all just jokes, and we've known each other for years now. I mean I've known all you guys for quite a while at this point, playing PvP and everything else, and you'll see people in chat yelling at each other, and sometimes they are a little salty and sometimes they are just getting at each other's throat, but they do it every once in a while and they come back and they're like, oh cool, we're cool.
Man, keeping it real, dude. Sorry for interrupting.
Every time, man. Mateo, Jesus, just take over the show, dude. Whatever, man.
That's just me, dude.
All right.
I was gonna say real quick, keeping it real. There's a lot of PvP players that actually want to give you positive reinforcement, because we're really, really happy to see new players and like sticking through it past like bronze, past silver, past gold. We're like, oh, you're doing awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I know Faros has been streaming PvP a lot,
Mhm.
and a lot of PvP players came into his Twitch, and they're like, yo, you're doing really good. You're picking this up. If you want more information, just here it is, kind of thing. So there's just way too many myths about PvP and the community and everything about it. It's really annoying, to be perfectly honest with you. And he's like people would rather just kind of listen to the myths instead of use their own brain.
Right. And try it out, and I could be part of it.
Try it.
Yeah.
Just try it.
Like, and there are people, I'm not gonna lie, there is a person that's gonna come out there and yell at you for not winning the match for him. But that's like, okay. If you watch PvE rage streams or anything else, people get yelled at all the time in those.
Yep.
And they don't remember that person the next day. They don't care. It's just in the moment you're saying stuff to say stuff. And I mean, I could think of maybe just a few people. Most of them are off on their own, off to the side in their own little areas where they can sit there and just circle jerk each other about how they hate people and stuff. And that's just any community that you're in at all. But overall, PvP, I think, has a healthier community than PvE.
Absolutely.
But, judging on the size of the community, I think like percentage-wise, yeah, that would make sense.
No, absolutely. Just the percentage is more close-knit, and people are usually there to help you out and just they enjoy going out there, and they enjoy other people going out there and trying, and then getting into a match with someone who's trying and knowing there's a chance they can win. They don't like getting into a match with someone who doesn't talk and just ignores them and tells them they're trash afterwards. That's what usually gets pushed off to the side.
I don't think that ever will happen, especially when you play like PvP teams. Like if you get a group of friends together, like your friends are going to say like, "Oh, you're trash," like you're playing to have fun, and like find another team who's also trying to learn too, and just like play with each other, and you'll learn. You'll make friends. You'll learn, and you'll get to join into the community even closer, I feel.
Mm-hmm. This is one thing that Mateo, I had to follow your Twitter on this one, that you're really upset about people saying that healers are the only, if you don't play healer, it doesn't matter.
That's one of the things, yeah.
So to elaborate on that, Mr. Mateo.
Oh, dude. All right. So I think this is another thing that's like widespread at this point is that healers are like so OP. They're like like part of the Justice League or the Avengers or whatever what have you. Like they just can't be taken down, right? All right. So I'm gonna keep it real. The strong healers are amazing, but they worked really, really hard to get there. Okay. So yes, you will have to work extra hard in order to accomplish something. However, strong communication and strong teamwork will actually like nullify almost all of that. You know what I mean?
That's
Just
correct.
like you really need to understand the game mode and not like rage quit and throw your keyboard out the window because you couldn't kill the healer trying to solo him or something 1 2 3. That just doesn't work. Like there's actually in PvE there's burst phases. So why wouldn't PvP have burst phases? That never got to me, right? Like, yeah, you 1 2 3 in PvE, right? But then it's like, all right, trick lines up, your blood weapon, all this other stuff, it lines up. Burst, you throw all of your abilities in. So what the hell? Unless you're Angelus, you don't solo.
Machinists have in deeper calling. In deeper calling, you could do a lot of solo stuff. I mean, you got 50% increased damage. But I mean, like, it's usually not. Usually, I mean, then that's the point of the mode. It's a team-based mode.
Yes.
And so you should focus on how are you going to work with your team. That's how you win. Not how do I run up and do a whole bunch of damage, right? It's how do I run up and do a whole bunch of damage working with my team.
Yeah. Because as an individual DPS, you're only going to do like 40% of someone's HP. You really need everyone else. Like your full burst probably going to do like maybe 40-50% of the HP. Maybe like as a melee DPS, let's say your range DPS might do another 30%. So it really boils down to like your tank, like being able to CC to buy you extra time to do more damage, and also them contributing. So you really need to like coordinate, and that's why Square Enix did really like they listened to our request for a countdown, the focus target, and that really helped a lot. But it's still like, yeah, I've noticed new players even now don't use it, and I feel like it's something that everyone should be using, even in unranked games.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing about healers, I played healer a lot in the last couple of seasons, and I had a lot of fun with it. I had a lot of frustrating situations too, though. I'm like playing a match, and like I'm in choline, and I'm just like, I don't know if I can do anything. I can't prevent these people from dying. If I was like God healer, like really good, like the top like 10 healers that are out there, sure, I could probably keep it going. But healers have breaking points, and there's just only so much they can do before you get that kill. And I mean, even when I'm not in choline, I mean, people start out right out the gate, all teamwork, straight together, huge burst, butcher's block, every single like Dragoon burst at the same time with the Bard, all going within the first 10 seconds of the match. And it slips by me sometimes, and it just happens, and you get a kill. Yeah. Healers can get completely screwed over, and it's tough.
Yeah, it's a misconception really that it's always the healer's fault. If someone dies, it's not, because like the DPS have to use their safeguard and walls and stuff like that, and the tank has to peel. Yep. But when people are new, sometimes they just think, I didn't get healed, but that's not the case.
Yeah, people not watching buffs, I think, is one of the biggest contributors to that too. Like not attacking into like Butcher's block and attacking into safeguard, and when they attack into safeguard, of course, most likely they're not going to kill. Attacking into protect. I mean, if you watch the buffs on the players, you could probably get a lot more kills. Most of the people who say, oh, it's just so hard to kill a healer, he's running around walls, regenning himself and throwing protect up on himself and Benison and just circling around. And you're not doing anything to try to prevent that from happening, and the tank's back stunning you. You have to try to... The point of the game is to get through and get that kill, and if you're going against a good healer, you have to look for those holes. And hard swaps, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
definitely.
There's strategies. There's always strategies to deal with like a really good healer. You just need it's a lot more difficult, but there's always a way to deal with it.
Yeah. And so don't give up. It's probably because you're not good at working with your team. That's really all it is. If you're losing over and over and you can't get any kills, you're not good at working with your team. I mean, you may have 300,000 DPS at the end of the match and 0 kills. I mean, it's just what it is. You have to figure out how to work with your team member, because you might be going into all the right areas, but maybe you're not telling your teammate, oh, let's attack this target. You're just attacking random shit, which I've seen a lot. But
yeah, keep in mind though too, like especially in solo queue, you might not you might be doing as much as you can, but you might not get the teammates that know what they're doing, or might not know as much as what you want them to know. Like they might not be stunning the healer when you're bursting, even though you're like your biggest burst you're throwing out, your range is throwing out the biggest burst, but like there isn't like that coordination between all three. I feel like whoever has the better coordination among like the two teams will probably win.
I do see a lot of people in chat saying that healer is definitely the best carry. I'll agree with that at the very beginning, 100%. I agree with it less at higher tier games.
What does Aqua think?
Yeah,
he's the enemy too, right?
Yeah. Aqua, what do you think
about all of this?
About healers being like the biggest carry?
I think that statement is not true at all, because you can see basically any high rank match and see that it's not the case at all, because with a little bit of coordination you can burst down a healer in like no time. Like before they have time to use a purify, they're already dead.
I can't tell you guys how many times I beat Aqua in solo queue, and I'm not a good healer. He's an FRC champion.
So would you say melee's the best carry then, or what?
No, I when you get to the higher tier,
it depends on the situation.
Yeah, it depends. It's literally who's the better player. So you have healer versus healer, basically. Tank, whoever has the better in each role overall. Because if you have a good tank that's going and stunning everything, your healer doesn't have to be as good, right? If the tank's on top of it and doing really good TBNs, really good covers with hallowed ground and all this other stuff, they're saving a lot of the healer missteps that...
Exactly.
Yeah, they could go do other stuff. And so it's the same thing with like DPS. If you have a really strong melee versus a melee that's not as strong, the healer has to be either better or not better on the other team, because they have to deal with that damage, right? They have to figure out how to deal with the coordination of that other team and the skill of those other players. And so I really think when you start to get the higher level platinum, especially, even starting some gold and up matches, it feels like it's all literally just who's the better player in the better roles. Not in the better roles, but who's the better player in their roles.
Yeah. At the high level of play, I think the game mode is very, very balanced.
But in the beginning, it's just a mixed match. And if you have a healer that doesn't know what he's doing, you're going to get steamrolled by people a lot more often. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like lower rank, I can see that argument, and that's where a lot of the people who like complain about like, oh, healers have carry potential, like that's so high. But yeah, it's because like lower ranked, there's not much coordination you would expect compared to higher ranked games. Like we've been saying this whole time, it's in higher ranked games, like healer doesn't have that carry potential. It's mainly just in the unranked.
Yeah. So get out of unranked, start getting into the gold matches, and then you'll see it's a little bit different than what you think it is. I mean, you can you can still blame it on them having a better healer if it makes you feel better and you can sleep at night. But that stuff starts to go away, right? People, of course, healer is going to carry a team if the other healer doesn't press any buttons.
Yeah,
it just is what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, don't let me pop off right now. I'm so close.
Pop off, Mateo, dude.
I'm so close. Yo, you know what? Okay, I'm reading the chat right now. This 99%, this 1%, 95%. That's bullshit, dude. Actually, you know what? Thank you very much to 99% of the community for not playing, because I have a 2200 laptop. I had a free trip with accommodation to Vegas. I got like $8,000, $900,000 worth of shit because 99% of you nerds don't fucking play
it. Jesus.
Damn.
Oh,
Jesus
God.
Christ.
Anyway, I just want to say, pardon my like French, but straight up, these people, you need a kick in the ass, dude. If you want something, go and get it. Stop complaining about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm talking to you, Teddy. If you want it, dude, get it. Like straight up. Like this myth of people being toxic. I'm being the most toxic this talk has ever. like legit. Like if you want to stop being a Care Bear, get in there.
Oh
And
my god, Mateo.
like you probably enjoy it. Anyway, that's my thing. Sorry.
Mic drop.
Teddy's a good guy. He just doesn't. He's not a PvP fan. I don't think.
I'm pretty chill, dude. Like I'm just really offended by all these like Care Bears and nerds.
Oh my god, Mateo.
This is passion right here.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
Mateo really loves PvP. I mean, we all love PvP here.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Fortnite, we love Fortnite. Fuck off, man.
oh my god.
Anyway,
But yeah, no.
I'll be-
Okay. We're good. Mateo's popping off on chat and stuff.
one of those.
Oh, that was good. That was
One of
real good.
those.
I do want to talk. I'm gonna not even look at chat. I want to talk a little bit about the season, and kind of how it's only a month. Like this is the shortest season I think we've ever had, right?
Yeah.
I
Oh wait, close.
really? I think we've had another like 1 month season.
Did we?
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
yeah.
we've
When?
had
Didn't we have a
somewhere
3
around
weeks?
like season 8 or season 9, I think. There was one that was like super short.
Yeah.
I don't remember one.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like 1 week more than this one.
Yeah, this one, it feels weird only having it for a month. I mean, I guess it stops it before it starts to slow down. I don't know. I don't know. They're trying to squeeze in both of these seasons because I know people wanted Light Party so bad. And I think they heard that and they're like, we got to get Light Party in here somehow, but we got to get a solo queue going too. And so now we have a 1 month of solo queue and 1 month of Light Party.
Yeah, I think this solo season should have started on the previous patch, which was when
Absolutely.
like 3 weeks ago or something, and then we would have had like 1 month and 3 weeks of season, and then like another 1 month of LP.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Yeah.
That would have been more balanced because there weren't really any changes on like
Mhm.
from the previous patch to this one. So I don't really understand why they delayed it this much, because we've been in pre-season for like almost 2 months, I think, and there weren't really any changes. So
Mhm.
I don't know.
There were
I-
0 changes for this season.
Yeah.
This is like
I feel like they were putting a lot of effort into changes before the FRC.
Mhm.
And then once the FRC finished, I think they're now putting all of those changes resources to 5.0.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say I hope they are like putting all the resources on like 5.0 stuff.
Mhm.
And there is a live letter on May 20 something, I think.
Yeah,
So
May
in
24th, I think.
basically 1 month. I hope we can see something about PP there.
Yeah.
Should be able to, because it's always a for the that live letter before Stormblood was super long. How much? Like 3 hours or something?
It was pretty long.
A lot. Yeah. And I hope we can get some time there to see some of the new PvP changes there.
Yeah. We can only hope, man, because I mean they did a lot of revamp stuff on PvP. If they do that again, then that's where we'll see it. If they're not doing a huge revamp, then we might not see that much.
Well, I guess we'll get some new stuff because basically MP is going away. Well, TP is going away, sorry. So that's already a change because we have stuff like Paladin that uses TP and MP.
Mhm.
So
yeah,
we'll
they're
have
gonna
to
have a
see.
small change. I mean, that's really. I mean, PVE, whatever they do in PVE is gonna have to transfer some way into PvP.
Mhm.
And it's. I get. It feels weird, man. It feels weird hearing that. What is it gonna be called? Is it gonna be called action points or something? I mean, what?
Don't remember.
Yeah.
Ability points, maybe.
Yeah. It just.
But yeah, it's
Weird.
It's weird. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it makes things simpler for development. I don't know, but getting rid of mana just seems weird. Mana is just like such a huge part of Final Fantasy, right?
No, they're
Yeah.
getting rid of TP, not mana. Like,
Well, I mean,
mana
are they
will
going to
stay.
call it mana? Like
Oh,
when
I'm not sure. I think it will stay MP, but that's it.
rogues will have
Oh.
MP points?
MP and not TP. That's I think that's
Monks with MP.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'll go with it.
Channel their mana,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it will have a different name.
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
Well, we'll see. I mean, for me. See, we'll talk a little bit about what we want to see with the future here. Let's hit this last little point here with not last point, but the other point that I want to go into, which we were talking a little bit about Light Party, and there only being like a month of this season. Light Party's never seen a lot of action on the boards. It's always been kind of slow. Do you guys think with it only being a month that we'll see maybe more teams out there trying?
They made it pretty reasonable to make the rewards because I think it said top 20 teams can
20
get
teams, yeah.
rewarded. So that's like a lot of people can just get like one match and like.
I mean, that's what they did before, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I need to get I guess I need to get a team together real quick so I could play a few games and maybe win. You got to win a game, right? You have to win a few games
to be on the board.
To be on
I
the board,
think with
yeah.
JP, they, especially when the FRC season came out, they actually had a lot of teams. They had more than top 10, or they had more than 10 teams per data center, and they had 3 different data centers to play, right? So in their sense, like they were really active. And then after the JP FRC, there was a lot of buzz on Twitter about the FRC and just Feast in general. So I really think that they're projecting there's going to be more than 20 teams per data center trying to play PvP teams, but I'm not too sure about NA and EU.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either because pretty much on that post on the Lodestone, they said they encouraged out pretty much people playing on multiple teams.
Really?
Yeah, there was like a last sentence on that.
What did it say?
Something like alternate characters are acceptable, something like that.
Wait, did they say that?
Yeah.
Let me look.
What?
Yeah, you can play on multiple teams with alts if you would like.
Oh, you may participate in the PvP team season with alternative characters on a different team.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Jesus, Air's going to be on everybody's team, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, that is kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about that.
I feel like with the whole queuing system, if they keep the same queuing system, which I highly suspect they're going to keep the same queuing system, it's gonna be a scenario where there's going to be one team per data center that's dominating every other team. I don't know about EU, but this was like
EU will be pretty balanced probably.
EU will be pretty
there are
balanced.
like
That's good to hear.
Yeah, it's always been like pretty balanced.
Yeah,
I think.
But I think for the most part, it's been like, I don't know, like for Primal, like we did have Amp play, which was like they were probably the most competitive team that we played on Primal. But I think just there's always going to be like that huge gap in skill because there's not that many players exposed to LP. Like there's always people that are like wanting to learn, willing to learn, and I think it really boils down to like the experience playing with like the people on your team, and you have to build that chemistry. You have to work hard to really get there. So I don't know how this LP season is going to go, but I really look forward to it.
There's a lot of questions about it for sure, honestly.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like even just like being in the queue, you have to sit in the queue for a long time, and then if you happen to get someone, if they lose, they're probably just gonna leave the queue. And then
I mean, honestly, they still could make things go up. Like not make things up, but like make decisions for Light Party before it actually happens. One of the decisions would be this is the time frame this region can queue for Light Party.
I've heard that before. Yeah.
Why not? Just screw it. Some people are going to be excluded because they work at 2. They can only play at 2 a.m. All right, you're probably win trading anyways if you're queuing at 2 a.m. So it's fine.
Or do a daily restriction for data center or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Just like
what they do with Frontlines.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be weird.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's weird.
I'm not too excited for it personally, not yet.
Yeah.
I think we're all like pretty like burned from like these 2 years, and having this Light Party season at the end of the expansion wasn't the best of ideas, in my opinion.
They probably should have just left it like solo queue for two months, be done.
Yeah, probably. And then at 5.0, just have like 2 ladders, 1 LP, 1 solo.
Yeah,
again.
that sounds better to me.
Yeah.
What I was thinking too is that since it's like the conclusion of Stormblood, right? Like this is season 13, we're getting armor. It almost made sense that they would like introduce like a mount for season 14 for Light Party, like one of, right? Because in terms of participation, I think most people, when it comes to Light Party, I'm not sure if you can get it with the light party season, but most people are probably going to go for the Eversharp stuff, right? But I don't know if they'd be too enthused about a recolor if that is the case. So I'm just, it
Mhm.
almost makes sense, like I'm saying, like that there would be a mount instead, just to
Yeah.
promote that bit of participation.
I absolutely
Yeah,
think if
but-
there was a mount, a lot more people would be playing for sure.
Yeah.
Like like they would just kind of take a break from their Hello Kitty ERP hut and just kind of
Especially when this armor set
in Mateo.
we have for this season of solo queue isn't very exciting to get, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely excited some PvE players, and that's probably the reason why they're playing. But for the most part, like the general consensus, it seems like it's a disappointment.
Yeah.
It's
I like the armor. It's good. I don't care.
I like the
guys.
cape.
unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
I like the game too.
Yeah. I think it's fun. I think I think it's fine. I look at it, I'm like, whatever. But then again, I don't know. I like
Problem-
I like the fly trap one too. I thought that was pretty cool.
The problem I have with this trend we have for season rewards, like these three last sets of armors we've had on like this last seasons on this expansion,
Mhm.
is that they mostly fit only tanks and melees, and then the other jobs, if you use them, it looks like out of place. Like imagine a white mage with that bulky armor.
Yeah.
It looks so, I don't know, ridiculous. So
Mhm.
maybe I am biased because I'm a healer main, but I wish we could go back to the kind of design mindset of the season 1 and 2 rewards, because
I
those
agree.
sets you can basically use it on every job and it fits and it looks really nice.
Mhm.
But with these armors, if you use for example, this last bulky armor on a white mage or a scholar, it looks, I don't know, out of place.
And I think that's kind of cool to be out of place with your armor and be different and weird and everything else. Like I like as a healer running around with a full tank set, but that's me.
It does motivate some people, right? Like,
Mhm.
oh, you're a healer, you have heavy armor.
Mhm.
I think it does speak to some people,
Yeah.
but I can also understand the other side. It's like, oh, like it doesn't really fit. So I think both venues are, in their own way.
You guys remember when they did armor for every single job? Yeah,
What,
or
for, like,
every
Makai?
role. No,
That was pretty
Wait,
cool.
what?
no. Back in the day, like in the old front lines and everything. I mean, it wasn't rewards for
Oh.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Both marks, right?
yeah. The first set of PvP gear. Every role had a different. You can go buy it right
Animal.
now. Yeah, you had different animal. You had unicorn. Yeah, lion.
Those are awesome.
Uh,
Those are still nice.
yeah.
those are like, see, that's the kind of gear that you just wear in PvE, and people are like, "Yo, where do you get that?" And they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's PvP." That like, and that's the same thing with the Venus flytrap armor with the Hellhound armor. Like that's just unique. It looks so weird and so like out there that
Mhm.
it makes people look at your character and be like, "Where'd you get that? It looks so funky." And then you just be like, "Oh, PvP."
Yeah.
And like, oh, cool.
My favorite thing, especially when you get like a mount after a season, is just to put the mount on and then just sit in like Ralbon's reach or whatever Ralgar's reach, and just have people come up. Oh, where'd you get that? Oh man, it's super rare. There's only 600 people in the world that has this. It's from PvP, man. It's from PvP.
Trigger warning.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, shots fired.
Yeah. And
I've actually gotten some pretty receptive people. Like every time they ask me, I'm just like, "Oh, it's from top 100 PvP." They're like, "Oh, cool, congrats."
Honestly, man, same here. The people in game have actually been really cool about it.
Mhm.
People on the forums are like some kind of like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or Reddit or whatever, yeah.
They're just
Mhm.
like, I can't stand that I can't have that easily. Why can't I do this? Why can't I just craft it, right? Why can't I just do something that I already do and I'm good at and get that? Why do I have to do something that I don't want to do to get something that I want?
Or like buy it with
That's
full
crazy.
marks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mock station.
I do. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I do think that like after an expansion's over, these rewards should come up like in PV and like by Wolf's Mark or something, but not the exact same one, like a recolor or something.
Yeah.
Like a
What I'm thinking is that the top 100 rewards should be available after some time with wolf collars, because we haven't used those like for anything except for the hellhound weapons, and those are those have the design from the season 5 and 6 armor,
Yeah.
and we haven't gotten any updates on that since 4.0. Like we've had that there and it died, and that's it. For example, I have like 60 colors on my inventory, and they are there because the weapons are ugly, and I can't really do anything else with
The
them.
paladin
So-
weapon is like the worst thing I've ever seen in my life,
Yeah.
man. Like you get a pick, right? It's just like a mining pick. Oh, it's just so out of place.
So yeah, for example, my idea for that would be to have them purchasable with wolf colors after, I don't know, like half a year or something. Like you can get one set, for example, I don't know, for like 15 colors or something.
As long
Just
as
so
it's
that
changed
you have
somehow.
people, so that you have people, they have to play at least a few seasons to have enough tokens to get a set. If they don't manage to get top 100, then they can get the past rewards by playing a few seasons.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good system, in my opinion.
I'd be okay with that. Yeah.
As long as see, I still want it to be something different. Like
different.
If say it's like some dragon mount or something, and it has some sort of crazy like coloration with like armor or something else, just take the armor off and then you can buy it later. Just have something on there that the person who earned it can keep.
Yeah, kind of have like a top 100 mark on it, saying that I didn't buy this with collars, I bought this, or I earned this.
Different name or
color.
whatever.
Yeah.
The same way they do when they put an item on Mog Station, they have like different name or something.
Or
They
just
are the
have
same
top
item,
100.
but with different name, basically.
Yeah, we don't need the same thing that happened with those earrings, man.
Holy crap! Or the minions?
Yeah, like the earrings. They were like from people who played 1.0 or whatever.
1.0, yeah.
And then they released it again for people to get, and they're like, "Not a source." Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
The White Raven.
So many people were mad. I don't even notice that the earrings exist on characters ever. I never zoom in that close. I never pay attention to it. But that's me, right? I can understand the naming at least be different or something be different about it so that people who did get it can still feel like they have something that is unattainable and they earned it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you still have to rank up to get wolf collars anyway, so they're still playing and working for it.
And once you start to figure out the mode, you start to like it more. That's the thing with Feast. Once you start to understand it and not be kind of like kicking your feet and upset about it, you enjoy the mode. I think, most people, I mean, there's still, I don't know. I guess I would have to ask people who started in 4.x and who have been around most of 4.x, because a lot of people who are in 3.x still are just grumpy and jaded and upset about the new mode. But I think at this point, most people have kind of accepted it, right? The changes to Feast and everything else.
There's been less complaints about it
Yeah.
as the patches went on for the most part.
Yeah. Man, that got so annoying. 3.x, so much better. Fuck you, dude. I don't care anymore.
Still hear it though.
Yeah.
There's benefits to both 3.0 and 4.0. Like 4.0 is an attempt to move PvP to a more like easily, like you can easily pick it up more than 1x, for example. It's like you guys said, ponders it a little bit more to the casual side. But I think it's like if everyone has the same like base with like the basics, like there's only 9 buttons, yeah, but if you can play better with the 9 buttons than someone else, then doesn't that still say something, you know?
I mean, it is. It basically your skill set goes outside those buttons more. I do think it would be nice to have more of a gap there for skill learning the buttons and the core functions of the job and everything else. But I mean, you start to gain skill in positioning. You start to gain more skill in other aspects. I mean, you get that in the other modes too, where you have lots of different buttons and everything else. But that's just where those resources of skill go. They go towards other parts of the game, the meta level. And some people can't get past that. They're stuck at hitting 9 buttons because they don't know how to play better.
Yeah, the design is different anyways. Like 4.0 is again meant for teamwork and coordinating kills, and 3.x we just soloed people. into your own thing the whole match.
Mhm.
So
Pretty
it's
much your
different.
buttons, your
Different.
buttons that you lost in 3.0, like they're being pressed by your like other people. If you're healing and you're complaining you don't have as much defense capabilities, all of your buttons from 3.0 they got transferred over to the tanks. The tanks are the ones that are supposed to help you
Mhm.
Yep.
for like half of that, right? So it's really like Brian said, it's like it's all about teamwork. You have to coordinate. You can't just solo people yourself. You have to really be able to have everyone on the same page.
Mhm.
Know what's
Mhm.
going on.
Quick question, just out of chat here about disconnection during matches and everything else. Disconnections are kind of weird. People have kind of different opinions if it happens in a solo queue match. I think if everybody knows each other, they'll wait and see that guy reconnect again. But it also depends on if they think that person's ever going to come back, right?
That is my opinion as well. Like,
Yeah.
if everyone in the match, for example, in a high rank match, knows each other, there is this mentality of waiting for the DC or trying to draw or something. But if you're in a low rank game and there are like 2 veterans, for example, one on
Mhm.
each team, and someone has a DC on their team, you can't really do much because the randoms on your team or the other team won't really stop playing.
Mhm.
So there is really no point on stopping. Like, just
Yeah.
move on to the next game and finish as soon as possible. And that's it.
Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of the mindset I have normally, because when you wait for somebody and it hits 5 calling and they come back and you're like, all right, I guess it's just whoever gets the
no, it's
lucky
not
hit
fair,
first.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah.
I agree
It's a
with
tricky
Aqua.
situation. Yeah.
You know what's kind of interesting? During the FRC, we had a rule that was like, okay, do you guys remember exactly?
Yeah.
I think it was like
If someone has a problem or disease or something, just keep playing. That's
Yeah,
what.
keep
Yeah.
playing. Yeah, that's it. Keep playing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't happen though, right?
Thank
Luckily,
God.
it didn't happen. Like, we are all on the same setup. If something like that happens, it would have
Well,
been.
no, the DC rule only applied to the semifinals because we were playing online with
Yeah.
our own computers and
No,
our own
it,
stuff.
it,
Yeah,
it,
it
was
was
the
for
same.
the
It was the
FRC.
same.
Was it for like at
finals
LAN?
as well.
It
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
but the thing is, if one person disconnects at the finals, most likely every single person is going to disconnect at the finals because they're all using the same internet.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, there's a chance, right, that you'd get
Yeah.
Like a PC crash or something, like a DirectX error or
It's
whatever.
like it's not even my PC. Like what happened? And people are still
Scary.
playing it. It's like yeah.
Yeah, so it's like all of us were used
Luckily, it didn't
to.
happen. But
It's like all of us were used to just like, okay, you know, somebody DC'd or like they're having issues, they're just standing still. All of us are used to just like, all right, let's show some respect, let's back off because they would do the same for us. It's just the right thing to do. And then you know, like going into the FRC, so that was a little bit of a culture shock almost, but it made sense.
Yeah.
It made sense.
A big part of it is because we're putting on a show. So like,
Yeah.
if we just
Exactly.
stopped, that would be really weird for the
Yeah,
audience.
how many Omega lulz would pop up in Twitch chat? Like, oh, look, DC's.
And Frosty
sitting around.
commentating. What would you even say at that point?
Like, oh, they got disconnected. Oh, they're going to have to figure out what's going to happen next. When they come back, either they're going to go in and make the kill as soon as it happens, or are they going to give it 5 seconds there? Are they going to wait, bounce, and jump up really quick and just make sure that everyone's still active and ready to go? Or are they just going to go in? Because I know if it was me and I was at FRC, I am not waiting. I am going to go in there and kill them as quickly as possible so I can get that victory.
and then
There you go.
and then
Talent.
Because comeback mechanics. No, I'm just kidding.
The comeback mechanics and disconnections, man. Yeah, coming back from a disconnection, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, so the other part here, and this is your friend Mateo. How have players adapted to not being able to chat in matches? I mean, we've been this has been 2 years, right? It's been over 2 years. It's been like 2.5 years. We haven't had chat. It's been okay. Some people still won't chat. I don't care anymore. I stopped fighting that a long time ago.
Right. I think we suggested this in another show actually.
Yeah.
Is that like the first minute or even just 30 seconds of the opening match, you know, while the match is like being configured, you have literally 60 seconds just for me, I alt tab. I'm like, all right, you know, when the match starts, I know when to tab back in. I think that period of time could be used as a strategy talk or just like, hey, you know what? We can do this. We can do that. I think that was the greatest suggestion that a lot of PvP players actually move forward with.
Yeah,
When
good.
But go ahead, Brent. Go ahead.
No, I said it sounds good. That's all.
Yeah, for sure. I just think like when it comes to actually learning how to use the quick chat, like we're at the point where we did get used to it. It's like we're getting creative and we're getting used to it. So it's like even before we didn't have countdown macro, like an official one. So that was another barrier the new players had to get into. It's like, oh hey, some dude from a random ass server is like messaging you, be like, hey, use this thing.
Yeah.
Right. We've advanced from that time.
Yeah, I think we've gotten used to it. And honestly, if we bring chat in, do you think it's going to be, hey, let's figure out how we're going to handle this, let's do the strategy and everything else? Or is it going to be like, oh, you motherfucker, you made me lose my last match, screw you, dude?
We'll go back to how it was. People will type in paragraphs mid-match and like stop playing. It's not a good idea.
Typing mid-match, I think should be not allowed. You can only use quick chat, but typing before a match, like, there might be some people who might get upset from a previous match. They might hold a grudge, but I think the pros really outweigh the cons with having chat, because not only can you teach new players, you can also like give them reasoning and explain like, oh, don't forget to pick up medals. Oh, don't forget these additionals are good because blah blah blah. And I'm pretty sure like now with the kind of community we have right now, especially with like, for example, PvP, so everyone's trying to help. I feel like a lot of the veterans aren't going to be like raging at other people. So it's really just going to be like the new people that are still inexperienced. So I think having chat is more of a benefit, just for the sole reason that we can teach people. We don't have to teach them through Discord. We don't have to teach them after a match what happened, because chances are they probably won't even remember what happened in the match. So, yeah. What are you going to say, Mateo?
No, I just said well said. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that makes sense too. And I mean, the funny thing is, League of Legends, they have a thing where they just take your chat privileges away. All right? Wouldn't it be good if someone was a toxic asshole, you just take their chat privileges away for so long?
Or report them, because
Yeah. Because I mean, I still want people to play PvP, and I feel like if they were all banned for being an asshole in chat, we'd lose like a decent amount of population, a chunk of it. And if they could just not talk because they were assholes, maybe they'll eventually not be an asshole anymore.
Limit messages instead of a straight up ban. Like, for example, you have a limited number of messages on like each match, and then if you spend them spamming nice job, then that's your thing. But
yeah.
I don't think I've ever played another PvP game where they just like completely removed chat and you can only use certain macros for it. At all.
It is kind of goofy, and I think there are ways to go around it. It will take a little bit of development to make it work well.
I think the best system here would be to have like open chat on the first minute of the game before the action starts, then only quick chat, because it's not really viable to stop and start typing, knowing how fast paced this game mode is, and then after the game you can have chat again.
That sounds basically what we're all saying here. Is that we'd like it for that first minute and then just done.
Like, some people would use it to insult other people, that's for sure, and that's everywhere. But what can you
now
really
that
do?
we have World
just
Visit
report and move on
as well. Sorry, just to add on to what you were saying, Aqua, too, like now with World Visit, like there's really no point not to remove quick chat from the first minute, because if you're trying to remove toxicity from a match, you're just gonna, if you really hated someone to the point where you were going to type paragraphs and paragraphs, might as well just world visit to their server, find them, and
jump around them.
Like, we already have that.
Okay, and then I mean, and when we're talking in terms of light party, it's all Discord anyways. That doesn't matter. They don't really need chat too much in light party. It doesn't even matter if it's restricted or not, because it's your own team. So all right, and so let's check. Let's talk a little bit, real quick, about the future of PvP and kind of going through all this stuff. Changes that you think the system could make going forward in this new expansion that would probably make a more healthy PvP audience, and I don't know, just increase the player base. Anybody?
Go ahead, guys.
Go ahead, guys.
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
I think what they should do is try and have more in-game ways to help people, like Aqua said earlier. So like maybe a PvP version of Hall of Novice, or maybe people have to play a certain amount of matches until they can do ranked. That's what a lot of other games do, like Overwatch, it to be like level 25.
Yeah,
Rainbow
but thing about that is that training sometimes is just not active when
yeah,
ranked is available. So that would be
very true,
I-
but maybe having that would make training more active. I'm not sure though.
Are there that many new players who want to start at the same time? And
They usually all want to
play-
start at the same time because they do some promotion, right? It's a slow trickle into Feast, unless if they're doing like a Garo event.
Yeah, like right now that would totally work. But like, who knows for 5.0 how much?
Well, like
people
just like yeah, like you said, helping people in game, and I feel like there's a really good system already in place. We have the mentor system, but you can pick, you can pick which mentor you want, and one of them is PvP. So you have all these PvE requirements that you fulfilled. That you
There's nothing from
you can
PvP.
become a you can,
There's
you
not a
can-
PvP mentor, is there?
there is.
There
There's
is an icon, but there are no PvP requirements to get it.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it's basically just get 3 jobs to 60, and then like a certain number of player commendations, and then basically you can get any of the 3 icons. And you can also get like PvE mentor and PvP mentor by gathering shit. So I don't know. It's
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, no, that sounds horrible. Why would... are you guys a part of the PvP mentor system here? No?
I mean,
I have
at the
regular
moment,
crown.
yeah, at the moment I use the PvP crown, but I don't know. It's kind of pointless at this point. The mentor system has to be reworked in some way because
There needs to be a PvP mentor, and like you need to have reached diamond or at least plat, or something like that, and have its own separate mentor novice network chat for them.
Mhm. But I still think the better way to teach new players about at least the core mechanics of the game mode would be to have a in-game tutorial, just like the Hall of the Novice has. Just teaching
what would it
the
have,
new players
though?
like how the medal system works. Basically.
Oh, okay. So, hey, medals are on the ground, pick it up.
Yeah. Imagine if in that quest there would be a part where basically there's a countdown on an NPC and you have to do a certain amount of damage in that countdown to pass it, Like, use your abilities to do X amount of damage, and that would replicate what you would do in game with a countdown on a target, for example.
Yep.
And that would kind of teach people how to do burst or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
no, I completely agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, being able to use quick chat in Wolf's Den.
Yeah.
Using countdowns on dummies, it would help a lot.
Yeah, I think so too. There's a lot of stuff, like you can't target. I don't know. There's no way to make the enemy thing work, but there's a lot of stuff that, like, your stuff that you use in PvP, you can't test it until you're in.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah.
It makes it kind of rough. All right, Mateo.
There's been a lot of feedback by reputable players and reputable groups over the years, and my hope is that we do get, at least a little bit of recognition for that. It's like, be like, okay, hey, you guys put in a lot of time into this suggestion. We're gonna tell you if we can use it, and we're gonna tell you if we can't use it. Basically, what I'm trying to say is just communication has been good in 4.x. I want to say it's been getting better and better and better. Let's continue that trend, right? Like, if we want, like, the general population of Final Fantasy to take PvP seriously, we need proper communication, right? Just a little bit, like, hey guys, like, we're choosing to adjust this way. You know what I mean? We're choosing to add this map, remove this one for this reason. Just a little bit of something would really keep morale high, and it would make it more official than it is now, right? Like, a lot of people look at it like, oh, like I think one of you guys mentioned earlier, it's like, oh, PvP is easy, and that's why people go into it. I think Aqua, you said this, and then when they try it, it's actually not as easy as they thought. So I think just a matter of like everything you guys are saying. It's like implement a sort of like a dummy hall, you know, reinforce it, communication, and I mean the community is already there, so we'll eat all that stuff up. Like it would be really really good.
Yeah, just someone who's out there hearing a lot of the different thoughts. Because I mean, this is the mentality I think with every single player that's out there right now, is that they don't listen to anyone who's not a JP player, right? They only pay attention to JP forums. They only do all this stuff, and that's not true. But they don't.
Probably.
Yeah, they don't. But there is communication issues with like when concerns are done by the community and they're very obvious to everyone and they're never addressed in any way or fashion. It does get frustrating. Which again, it would be nice if there was a dedicated PvP person. But
It's mainly just the disconnect. Disconnect's there. It's visible.
it sucks when you don't feel you're heard. You feel like ignored. But
And you put so much passion into the game too.
yeah.
It's true.
All right, so let's see. We got a question here. Do you guys have any speculations on maybe potential buffs for the jobs or anything that you want to see that might happen with any of the jobs? Like if they're too strong, too weak, what would make them more relevant?
Buff Scholar and Buff Paladin. No.
That second one, I don't know.
Buff
man.
Paladin, man. Buff Paladin.
Stop triggering me.
Let's get the 3-second stun back, guys.
Yo, I played Paladin when it was 3 seconds. Everyone was like, "Oh, Paladin's garbage, dude." I was like 90% win rate. I'm like, "This is GG easy." Like, it was
You stun everybody. That's it, right?
pretty much like 3 seconds. Come on, man.
Yeah. I think to make the community happy, they need to do something with cover. Just change how it functions. And not
It needs to break.
Yeah. Because really good paladins will always have a cover up almost on every single target, and eventually that's it'll kill them, and it's going to be really hard to find those holes, and a lot of people are dealing with that frustration. And as a paladin player, I love it, but at the same time, I think that people are just so tired of it, and it's such a meme right now. If they need to do something that will make the community happy, which would be easy by just putting a 15-second countdown or cooldown on it or something
Exactly.
like that. Yeah.
Exactly. It should be a cooldown instead of a meter without any cooldown.
Yeah,
I
and
think.
take away the 10% damage
Maybe-
increase. Just put 15 seconds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think cover isn't that hard to deal with in LP.
You can bait it super easy
Exactly,
in
you can
LP,
bait it.
but
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep.
the problem is solo queue here. No,
Yeah,
Yeah.
solo
not,
queue is there is no there's no button says hard swap to this target now.
Exactly.
If you do another countdown 5 seconds on this target, and by the time it's down, it's probably like cover's already back up, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I think the biggest cheese for Paladin actually is? The thing that I find to be more overpowered than cover is actually hollowed ground. I think
You get 3 of those a match, by the way. 3.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying the ability to cover someone and involt somebody else as long as yourself for 5 seconds, I think is too strong. Like
I don't know. I think that's a time.
I
Being
don't
really
know
good
if
at
you
timing
know-
that.
man, if you LB, dude, and he's like hollow ground cover
Feels so good.
to you.
Hollow should have something like pacification for Berserk. Once you use Hollow Ground, you get like a debuff on yours.
It's so ridiculous, dude. Like the only
I don't
thing
know.
going against hollow ground is the application time, like the server tick time. Sure, you might click it like 3 seconds earlier, and then it'll finally pop up. It's so bad, dude. You need some kind of penalty for that shit. Like I'm sorry, sir, but it's just way too OP, dude.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Yeah, whatever.
If Hollow Ground didn't exist, I don't know if I would want to play Paladin, dude. It's just
See?
like it's one of those things that 5 seconds is a very small window.
What about
Right.
you remove hallowed ground and you give something like mobility wise to Paladin? Like,
Yeah, so they don't have
dash or
to.
something?
That's why I run with Bolt on Paladin, dude. Like I just.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have zero
You have
mobility, so
charge or something.
It's really odd. 'Cause that job is it's not that great in light party, but in solo queue is really good. So
Yeah.
I don't know what they could do about that really.
I mean, maybe they can toss the shield and chase after it or something. That'd be pretty cool, right?
Well, they
Good
made
charge.
adjustments like to front lines, right? For melees and tanks specifically. Like I know it's not that big of a change, but they made melees and tanks do more damage and take less damage in front lines. I feel like they can do the segregation even more for LP and solo queue.
Hmm.
You know, make certain adjustments for solo queue, but don't change the core of the class. But just make like certain small adjustments here, then that make it fit more towards like the metal change, you know? It's like don't give heavy metals or light metals in LP, but keep it in solo queue.
Right. Try to balance the modes with the mechanics.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can't get rid of cover overall for Paladin because I feel like that's a key. That's identifying who that role is. Yeah, but there just has to be a way to make it a little bit more balanceable. I fuck you guys. Hallowed Ground needs to stay, dude. I don't.
I think it's warranted right now, Hollow Ground, because you take extra damage recovered.
Yeah, because that 10% increase every single time. Like, when do I have 100 gauge so often on Paladin, man. Like, I don't want to cover because I'm like, I only cover if I'm like, I can get out of this really easy, and it's not gonna be a horrible situation. Because you'll just delete me.
Then you get double beat when you're covering, and you get one shot instantly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Calling 5.
Rachel be insta one shot with cover.
Yes.
Dude, I'll sit on my Swift cast for the entire duration until I see it covered. You're getting like bombs over Baghdad, dude. That's happening.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I should do that too.
Hell yeah, man.
But I think that overall balance, that Paladin is the thing that people talk about the most. I mean, Monk is the other one, right? Monk is the one that people are like, oh, well, it's just too slow. I feel like overall. Mateo, you have a little bit different thoughts, maybe? I don't know.
It's misunderstood, first of all.
Okay.
Like, it's easy to say it's shit. It's easy to say it's shit, right? I can say with confidence that it has a niche. All melees do, but it does kind of fall short of the picture. You know what I mean? Like the entire concept of the feast, they kind of fall short. Like there needs to be just a little bit of buffs. Like the entire store 4.x, they were like buff. Like first it was ridiculous, like we mentioned earlier on, but then it's been slowly like getting, here's a buff, here's a buff, here's a buff. I think probably the same with Summoner, 25% points. Anyway, when it comes down to it, like it's pretty decent now, but the niche doesn't really fit into the entire scope of the game mode, right?
Like the meta.
Correct. I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. But that makes it like, why should you play it if the other jobs like better?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, it's how much is the difference, right? If it's like this one you'll lose if you play Monk versus playing a Dragoon, then yeah, sure. But if it's like a 1% to 3% difference, then it doesn't feel like it's that big of a deal. I think overall it's pretty balanced. Just some are a little bit stronger in the mode itself. Like Dragoon, you can just run around and attack stuff constantly, right? You don't even have to think. You're just constantly attacking stuff. But if you play like any other melee job, well, Ninja, you can stun people, so it kind of helps you out a little bit. But you have to be ahead of the target almost and know exactly where they're moving and keep your uptime. And that's the thing I'm struggling with right now because I'm just trying it out. And I'm like, fuck this, I'm going to play Dragoon. Because I don't have to think about it.
You know what? Yeah. Oh my God, don't. You know what? One thing though that hasn't been mentioned is the fact that like solo queue and light party are different in terms of job selection. Like it's that much more magnified in light party and solo queue. I feel like if you're really really passionate about that specific job, and you're stubborn, right? Like no, I want to play this job. You can get a top 100. Maybe even if you're
top 10.
I mean, like
I think top 10.
I'd say top 10 too, actually.
Yeah, I spoke to the Japanese player that got rank 1, right?
Yeah.
With Monk, and like that's possible too. So solo queue is a different beast than light party. So don't get discouraged when people say, "Oh, that shit, don't play that." Just analyze for yourself and
just be good at it.
That's much better than any tool.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't encourage new people to play those jobs.
Right.
So.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Brian, be shit talking.
It's for their sake.
I agree.
No. If someone comes up and they're like, "Hey, I want to play Monk and Feast," I'm like, "Do it. Fuck it. Who cares? I'm gonna tell you where its strengths are and where its weaknesses are, and you can play it, and that's it. Like, don't.
Just that much more work, man.
Yeah,
It is. Yeah.
And you put that in front of him, but I'm not going to be upset if I have a Monk on my team and he runs around and he's deleting people because he knows how to play it. So,
like the difference between classes, like if you compare Monk to Dragoon, the difference is it's not that big. if you think about it. Like, yeah, Dragoon might be better with applying pressure, but Monk has higher burst damage, but the pros outweigh the cons for Dragoon over Monk. But in reality, when you're queuing solo queue, there's so many other factors to play. Who's on your team? What roles do you have on your team to help accommodate your role? And who you're playing against? There's just so many other factors that really outweigh. So in a sense, all classes are viable. It's just how well you play that class individually is what people really say when they're like, oh, this class isn't as good. But there's so many other factors.
You're always going to say, oh, well, this job has it so much better because they can do this. Oh, I'm a paladin. Oh, warriors can dash over and do an easy hard swap. All right, well, where's my strength as a paladin? I cover people and make it to where their limit breaks are 0. So it's pretty good. You just have to figure out where the strengths of that job are. You could do really well. And you are going to have the situation where there's always going to be someone who's going to come out a little bit above someone, just overall an optimum high-level meta, but it's never going to be so much in solo queue that you need to give a shit. Just go out there and have fun with what you want to play. And don't listen to Brian when he said, oh, fucking Monk on my team. Screw him.
That does not sound like me at all.
It sounds exactly like you. All right, one other question here, and then we can try wrapping this up here. What's an obscure piece of PvP advice you've given or received that has stuck with you throughout all your seasons? Hard one, isn't it?
It's a good one.
Think for a bit.
Yeah. If I had to declare on that, obscure. I don't know. I can't think of anything that was given to me that stuck with me that I was just like, oh, that was really out of nowhere.
Yeah, like well, there's one piece of advice that I've always given out, and that one was, it's not really like particularly related to the feast. I think it was to always keep a positive attitude, because feast can be tilting, competitive game modes can be tilting. You play worse when you're tilted. You don't make smart decisions when you're tilted. Just like, even if you're trying your hardest to climb and you really want to earn points, I think the best mindset to have is a receptive one. Try not to block everything out and be like, I want to win. Like, it's like, oh, like, this isn't my fault. You got to always have that receptive attitude. Just be like, oh, what can I do to improve what happened that match? And just always try to, like, don't rage at people. Always try to improve yourself. Think of ways that you can keep yourself positive, and I think you'll do a lot better. You'll see yourself in a better light too.
I think I thought of one here. It was play Lalafell. Because they're smaller and you don't see them as easy, so it's harder to read. And I don't listen to it one bit.
They actually do fully cover behind the wall, even their name tag.
Yeah,
it really is.
To be honest, that's why I played Lala in FOC. But okay.
Exploits.
Yo, same.
Cheating.
It's funny, like, even in like WoW PvP, everybody played like gnomes or something small, right? Because it's just that much harder to target and that much harder to see what was happening.
Someone in chat is saying smaller hitbox, but the hitbox from characters are always the same. So
yeah, all hitboxes are the same size.
Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely, that's the only difference. But now that you can click on names, it doesn't matter as much either. But I mean, it's just smallest little thing, right? And it's possible that one thing will get you an extra win every 1,000 games or so. But it's true. Brian, do you have any obscure advice?
No, I can't think of anything.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of anything, but nothing comes to mind at the moment.
Fair.
It's pretty much what Kaze said about tilting and stuff. If you are on a losing streak and you start getting tilted and stuff, you won't play as well. So the best thing to do is take a break, do other things, and yeah, tomorrow will be better, I guess.
To go on that too, kind of my biggest thing, and we all struggle with this to some degree, is when you lose, don't think about how other people made you lose. Think about how you could have changed things to win. Yeah. And even if it's like even crazy or like over obvious the healer was underperforming or anything, I mean, you might get that healer again. What could you do if you're with that healer to have a better chance winning next time? And I mean, you're not always going to have a solution. You're not always going to be able, I mean, you may lose every single time, but then you might get a match just that much closer. And then you have that healer, and there's another healer on another team, maybe just a little bit better. And because you learned how to play with that healer in particular, you're going to win that match. And so just learning what you can do and what's within your power is the most important thing to getting better.
Very true. Yeah.
No one
Like
is
that, yeah, that's why like every like top player usually has above 50% win rate because we try our hardest to do what we can to carry or.
Mm-hmm. I
stuff
mean,
like that.
that's the name of the game. You're there. You're not just playing to beat the other team. You're playing to make your team beat the other team. And hopefully the other people on your team are doing that too. But sometimes you're not that fortunate. But you're still having to keep that mindset. I need to win. How do I do it? You figure out how to work with your team.
You
no
know,
matter
one
what
thing-
team you're given.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, no matter what team you're given in solo queue, just work with what you have. Just try your best.
Mhm.
Maybe you'll learn something you never even thought of in the first place. Like, oh, I can actually work with people who aren't like as like coordinated. Maybe I can play around them instead, kind of thing. You start thinking more about like ways that can help you win. You know. It's,
And you gotta also realize every healer is different, and you have to figure out how to play with different healers with different play styles and positionings. And so once you're like, oh, this is the most optimal strategy or optimal strategy for playing, it's not always the case if you're with different players. And so that's how I learn most of my stuff. Is if I'm with Mateo, I gotta play a lot better, right? It's just what it is.
You know what kind of sticks out of my mind that somebody told me is just like there's games you win and then there's games you learn, and for me, like that was kind of the mentality that I went in with.
Mhm.
If I lose a game or even if I win a game, right? It's like I want to be thorough in my own mind. It's like, okay, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this different. Do you know what I mean? Just always kind of push yourself forward,
Mhm.
right? Like anything in life, if you want to succeed, right? Like whether it be weightlifting or something, you'll add weights, more weights every week, just something like that to keep yourself more motivated. Because if you're just playing for the reward, your motivation isn't going to be as high as the person next to you that's like trying to constantly self-improve.
Mhm.
So I mean, sure, you both get the reward and stuff like that, but then there's other things that you might learn and might learn to kind of enjoy. So I think that really stood up for me.
Mm.
Be humble and you know, always keep improving.
Yeah, and again, don't focus so much on, because if you start making excuses for why you lost that are out of your control, it doesn't help you.
Mhm.
Aqua, you don't have anything, I'm assuming.
No, I've been trying to think about something, but no, it's just the small things that are not really worth mentioning, to be honest.
Okay, fair enough. I think we can probably wrap up there. We've been here for about 2 hours. It always goes by really fast. Like I don't.
Wait, 2 hours actually? Oh,
It's
shit.
been 2 hours. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But yeah, this has been a good talk here. It's nice to talk about PvP again. We haven't had a PvP show in a while. We were gonna have one, but I mean, the whole team decided not to join in on the show and I'd cancel it. But I mean, other than that,
Mm,
Aqua.
uh,
I don't know.
Yeah,
sorry.
that's okay. That's okay. Hopefully, we'll see what happens coming up. We have some stuff that I think we need to talk about a little bit before we go into the closing part. That I really should mention, which is with the cup, the World Cup here, Kaze. Could you like say a piece and just kind of whatever you want to say to everybody right now about the World Cup?
Oh, yeah, sure. So the World Cup, just brief overview of what it is. It's a community-run tournament by PvPaisa. It has a minimum $2,000 US prize pool, which is it's a sizable amount. There's a lot of teams. I think there's over 35 teams registered from all three regions, and it's essentially a cross-region tournament. First tournament starts May 11th. Second tournaments are May 17th, 18th, and then the grand finals will be on the 25th of May. So those are the 3 dates you want to mark on your calendars if you want to watch. There'll be a lot of giveaways happening as well. So follow the PvPaisa Twitch if you haven't. And yeah, there's going to be some really good games. There's a lot of really, really good teams, a lot of really good solo queue players that made teams. So it'll be really interesting to see how that turns out.
Yeah, I'm excited for it because I mean the logistics in making this happen is very, very complicated. It's been a lot of
There's
work.
a lot. There's a lot of thought that got put into it, and I think the biggest challenge for the World Cup was to really accommodate the players,
hmm
and it's something that we're still trying to do to this point. Do you mind if I link the
Please,
Twitch?
yeah. Let me before you do it. Let me make sure you're good. I'm just gonna. I'll be lazy about it, and I'll just throw the mod there so you don't get timed out. There you go.
Alright,
You're free to do it.
All right, so that's the Twitch link. If you want to win giveaways, you're probably gonna have to follow. So
Mhm.
please do, and you also get notified when the games are actually happening.
Yep.
But yeah, these will be fun matches, and I really hope to see what each region can bring to the table.
Yeah, and this is one of the last big events. I think there's also maybe another Chaos Cup coming. I'm not sure.
Yeah, later in the summer, I think.
Yeah, and we're trying to get out these other matches and everything else. I mean, we only have 2 months until we're in the next expansion. So we're gonna get these last bits of events going, and then we're gonna see what the future of PvP looks like. And I'm kind of excited for it. I'm a little bit nervous because I don't know what's going on, but hopefully we'll find out soon. Okay, so let's do shout outs. Let's do the final parts where you guys just kind of shout out to whoever you want to shout out, say where people can find you if you want people to find you. And I'll just go clockwise here. Aqua.
Okay. Then yeah, I usually stream on my Twitch channel, which is the one under my picture here. And I pretty much stream almost every day nowadays because new season and stuff, and people are really active on PvP, and it's fun. Especially now that there are 2 data centers, there is always stuff to do. So yeah, you can find me there when I'm streaming, and then I would like to shout out my friend Shizu for getting me into this game back in 2016. Otherwise, it wouldn't be possible to be here, and and the whole PvP community for sticking together and making things better for everyone.
All right, Brian.
You can find me at twitch.tv Brian Ricardo. I also stream mostly Final Fantasy 14 PvP, but I do play fighting games on the side and stuff like that. I play on almost every data center. I don't have a alt on Crystal yet, but I mostly just play to have fun and try out jobs and help and stuff like that. Also, my Twitter is Brian Ricardos with an S at the end.
What a loser! Who puts stuff in at the end of their name and stuff so they can get it
snatched?
Yeah. Mateo.
What's up, man?
Hey,
shout outs to my PvP team, Synergy 6. Shout outs to my FC on Cactuar, which I recently returned to. Heavenistic Chaos, really cool people. Shout outs to all these cool people that were on the show today, actually. You guys are awesome. And entire PvP community, thanks for playing these past 2 years, man. It was cool.
Yeah. All right, Kaze.
Yeah, so you can find me on my Twitch. It's just down below, Musical Notes. I actually have started streaming pretty consistently every night, ranked. So I'm on Primal. Feel free to stop by, say hi. It's newcomer friendly, so I'm always willing to help, ask questions. Feel free. Shout outs. I want to give a shout out definitely to my PvP team. We've been close friends for a while now, and it was great. It's always great playing with them. I want to give a shout out to my PvE friends. I got my Unending Coil of Bahamut group there. They're all watching and supporting me. And also my AlphaScape group too. The 2 separate groups. They're all really great people. EU, I want to give a shout out to Dan and his team. They were great PvP scrim partners, and still to this day really great friends. And the PvP community is great. All of you guys are great here in this MogTalk, and it was really nice meeting most of you at FanFest. So
yeah, except for Aqua, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, we couldn't meet Aqua, but I feel like
you pleb.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for coming on the show. It's been actually a lot of fun here to just talk about this again and just have a nice casual conversation about PvP in general and kind of where we are. And you guys are all wonderful PvP players, and so this is, of course, who I want on the show. I do want to do a shout out, of course, to you guys. Thank you for coming on. Thank you to all the viewers for watching and everything. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to be having MogTalk on next week. I have, again, a couple ideas that I'm floating around, but I will hopefully have to decide it within the next couple of days and post that up. And guys, please make sure to catch the World Cup here on PvPaiza. You can join the Discord too. I don't know if one of you guys want to throw the link out there for him, but this is pretty much, I would say, the central place for PvP if you want to go and learn more about it. And with that being said, you guys, remember, be good, keep cool, and of course, stay very, very, very frosty. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Wave awkward. Be awkward. Wave. Okay.
Okay.